Hey everybody, Customikes here. We are here at the Grand National Roadster Show in Building 5, and we are going to talk with Keith Dean about the Runaway that he's building for Restoration Garage and / the Guild of Automotive Restorers. And we had a bunch of people asking about what did Keith actually do, and Keith has agreed to tell us a little bit of story about the car. So let me come in and introduce you to Keith, the Kid Dean.
How's it going? Hey, a lot of you guys saw this on Restoration Garage where my friend Larry came to the shop and we went to Pomona Swap Meet and we were looking for a car. Well, we wound up finding a 40 Mercury. The guy with the yellow car wasn't going to sell it, so he wanted one like it. I said, I wouldn't build you that one, but I'll build you another one. So we found a 40 Mercury out of New Mexico, had it brought in. First thing we did was whack the roof off. It was going to be like Harold's, no top.
That's like a Keith thing, huh?
Yeah, well, roadster, we wanted to do sports roadster. And, but I had this different vision. When you build a car, you always think of, okay, what could I have done, or what would I have done different? And one of the things was this fender fadeaway. It's a style from the 40s, the full fender fadeaway, and then the swept down door. That's also another style. Bill Hines loved drop down doors, and I love Bill Hines, so we were going to do that. In the original concept drawings, the headrest ran all the way down the trunk, but I was having problems getting the roof to look right. If I was going to have a hump, and then how do you get the top over the hump? So I just shortened them up. I wound up using 39 Cadillac headlights and putting some pads on there. Dished them down a little bit so that it didn't look like I just bolted them on.
I kind of liked. I looked at that feature, and I was like, why did he do that? And then it does make sense because it sets them apart.
Yeah. I didn't want it to look like afterthought. You always try and think of, okay, it wasn't an afterthought.
Yeah.
So we did the windshield. It's funny, this post right here, the center post, came from James Hetfield's Auburn that I did for him.
No kidding.
Yeah, Rick Dorr wound up using a brand new Auburn built windshield post, and so I had the leftovers, but it wouldn't work on the side. So the center one was his, and I modified it. Then I got MG side posts. Normally the windows are curved, but they're aluminum and they're easy to carve, so I just reshaped them.
That's the thing that I probably have noticed most about you, is the ingenuity about finding the different parts that works together.
Well, you know what? My dad was like me. We're pack rats, really, I guess. If you look at the shop, and you look out back and you're like, oh, when are you ever going to clean this place up? It's just like, that's a parts room. What are you talking about? It's not junk. So we just, scrounge around and like, okay, that's perfect, exactly what I want, you know?
Yeah.
And so, what would it cost me to have that cast, milled?
My God. Yeah.
It's just like, and I found them for free, so, they go on there. And then we're working our way up front. This was always in the design concept. This is a little weird for any car, but this was a light that they called the Woods light, which was designed by a female called Wood. And it actually used to have a narrow beam in the center. So I didn't want that. I wound up cutting the end off and remaking a bezel and making some lenses for it so that it would project a little more light onto the road.
I love how you set them into the fender, because they are huge lights.
Oh yeah, well that's the thing. I had to I wanted the height of the headlight with all the curvature to be so everything flowed. It wasn't just sitting on top, or wasn't too far in or Frenched in.
Yeah, they look perfect in a fender car with the big swoopy stuff, and they're tucked between the grill and the...
Yeah, my friend the other day said that standing in front of the car, you couldn't even tell it was concaved.
I know.
So it's kind of good that it worked out. The grill wound up being the same as Harold's. This is a 57 Buick grill turned vertical.
Yeah.
And
it's almost a trademark of yours.
I know. It is things we wind up doing.
Yeah.
So the rear also came, 37 Zephyr fenders were used on the rear because I wanted that pull the car back. I wanted it to real long with the fadeaway
the fade
fenders.
goes all the way in almost to a point.
Yeah, and then I wanted to draw the fenders back. So This part is 40 Mercury, and then this part right here is the 37 Lincoln Zephyr, and then I hand built a rear pan, you know, character, so it just wasn't funny.
The Runaway.
Yeah. And then this is a trait that was popular in the 30s, is the fin. Some of them had them taller, whatever, but I made mine just, you know, a little, kind of like a throwback.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of cast on there.
I love the way you dished it on the pan.
Yeah.
To give it some character.
Yeah, I just don't want it flat because then it looks like an afterthought. If you shape it and move it around a little bit, you get someone can tell you that you put thought into it. That's what I wanted to do. So I'd open the hood. It's a little difficult right now.
Yeah.
But it's got a great motor. That's one of the things. Larry, one of the things he requested is that it not have any logos on it.
Okay.
But I couldn't do that. I had to do one, and I'll show you. Look inside. This is the this is the backup light, but it normally would be a license plate light. But
wow, look at that.
Got to keep the Mercury Man on there.
Yep.
And then he wanted a performance motor, so we gave him a performance motor, and so he's really happy. Sounds great.
Yeah.
And this is on a chassis change too. We cut up a mid '80s GM G-body and used the rear suspension because I like coils over leaves.
They're so smooth.
Yeah, it just glides, and so it's got disc brake front, drum rear, but on 4 springs. It's channeled, 7 inches. It just rides really comfortable.
Love the Lincoln buttons.
The Lincoln buttons, that was another. Being a roadster, you could just reach in, but we want to. When the top goes on, we do have a top for it. When the top goes on, we want to put curtains here.
Yeah.
And so the buttons will help, so you don't have to
make it more convenient.
Yeah.
Yet it's still a very stylish custom touch.
Exactly. Yeah.
The dash is beautiful too. Is that the stock one?
The dash is stock. If you notice, Mercury's have the Grille lines, and so that was blanked off. And but this is stock. There's normally a clock here that's been blanked out. The radio speaker grill has been taken out. But steering wheel came out of Australia.
Really?
So, yeah.
Oh wait, don't you have a friend from Australia?
Yeah. Aussie Max, man.
Aussie Max.
Thanks for
good day, mate.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for having some good parts down there.
There's so many people that have asked about this car on our feeds, and this was a request that we were honoring for an interview with Keith about this car that he debuted at Grand National Roadster Show.
Yeah.
And we got to help just a little. We color sanded for a day.
Oh, believe me, it was a large help.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you're knee deep in it and someone decides to say, hey, can I help? And they knocked it out of the park. I hadn't cut the hood yet. Yeah. And Mike volunteered.
Yeah, and Jana Lepola from Finland came all the way from Finland to help things.
Exactly. And it was just a load off my mind to be able to get that done. And
such a beautiful thing, Got to give a plug to the man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just beautiful. I'd love to see it with the roof too one of these days.
Yeah, it's going to be nice.
Yeah.
What I'm going to do is the tonneau cover here is set with thumb screws.
Okay.
Here. It's the bracketry for the roof is going to slip in where the top goes.
Yeah.
And then it's going to have a perimeter frame, and then the top is just going to attach to the perimeter frame.
Yeah.
And then it's going to sit on the post and free float over the glass. So there really aren't latches on the front. Because of the way it's going to be held in the center, the wind won't rip it off.
Yeah, it won't be able to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love the interior. My friend Gerardo did the interior. It has that 40s feel with the piping, and he just knocked it out of the park. I'm just really excited about
love
that.
the piping.
Yeah.
Done. And it carries into the floor mats and the sides and even the handles.
That inspired me to work on the pinstriping, because I was talking to the striper and I said, okay, see these lines?
Yeah.
I want some of that outside, so he understood what I was looking for.
Yep. And I mean, I love it. I didn't see it when it was striping until you guys rolled it in, And it
Oh, that's right.
really-
You weren't around when they were striping
Yeah,
it.
no. So when I walked in here, it's like yes, that's it, and it was perfect. It's just detuned enough,
Yeah.
and adds enough character and style to it, and it's very traditional too.
Yeah, a lot of people that have been asking me if this was a 40s build that recreated or something.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of that style, but no, it's a fresh build just with crazy old ideas.
Yeah, you finished at like 1 a.m. before setup.
Yeah, it was.
Been there a few times.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. We were talking about that too. It's just
Yeah.
like you could plan for 3 years
Yeah.
to be done 3 months before this car has to be
Yep.
shown, and you will be up at midnight
Yep.
trying to polish something you didn't see, or
Yep.
create something, or get the part that didn't show up in the mail.
Yeah.
And it just never stops. So I don't worry about it anymore because I
Yeah.
know it's coming.
You do what you got to do, and it's like the amount of work always fits the time that's left.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Barely.
yeah.
So,
But
anyway,
the owner Larry
yeah.
is very excited. I just spoke to him at lunch. He's super excited about the car. He loves it, and so it's everything that he thought it was going to be, which is you always like that.
He looked so happy when he was here
Yeah.
the other day, and yeah, what a car. What a swept back, beautiful little custom concept for a bunch of cool guys, by a bunch of cool guys. And the man himself, Keith the Kid Dean. And how many cars do you have here today that you built?
Well, there's 4 in the show.
4 in the show?
Yeah.
How many outside?
Yeah, there could be some outside. I
Yeah.
didn't check them all, but
Yeah, I mean, so you still got time to come down to the Grand National Roadster Show. It does end at 6 today, right?
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
can come and see and talk to Dean yourself.
yeah.
So thank you so much for taking the time with Customikes and our good day
Yeah.
mate from what was it?
Aussie Max.
Aussie Max.
Aussie Max, I'm sorry.
Aussie Max, yeah. And show off the car. So it's in our other videos too, but thanks for hanging at Customikes and thanks for hanging with Keith Dean. See ya.